Hey guys, Josh here, also known as G1 Headstrong, and today we're going to be taking a look at Mastermind Creations Fortis, also known as the Predacon Headstrong. Now I do have quite a few comparisons for you as far as original G1, some generations, also the original G1 Predacons, including the Mastermind Creations Bovis. We're going to take a look at all these guys side by side, and I'm not going to do the transformation on screen just because I've already done it with Bovis, and they pretty much share the exact same transformation, and they almost look exactly the same as well. There are just a few minor differences. Let's go ahead and start getting into some of those, and we'll kind of do a little 360 of Bovis and Fortis here. If I can get this guy's weapons to stay on here. There we go. Alright, the first thing that you'll kind of notice is they obviously have different heads here. With Bovis, he's got his bull, or also known as tantrum, and he's got a rhino head because he's a rhino. Now, everything is pretty much exactly the same as far as this top section, which you will have the foot for predicating and also the fist. This one is left and one is right. The feet are pretty much exactly the same. The weapons are going to be different. We'll take a closer look at that here in a bit. As far as the shoulder sections right here, they're pretty much exactly the same, and also the same when you come down with the legs. But you'll notice if you look at the feet, or I'm going to call them little hoofs, I guess this is supposed to resemble more of what a bull's hoof looks like. Never really get that close to them, so to identify. And a rhino, that's his. So there's a little bit of difference there, and I like that they did do that for us, and they're not exactly the same. So they did do, one little thing there. You come over here to the side, you'll notice that everything is pretty much exactly the same, even all the detail. Whenever you get here to the outside of the robot leg, you see everything else here is the same. Coming back here, the only other subtle difference, come on dude, is this back section here, to where you can see that he's kind of got like these little three, I don't even know what to call those, little thrusters or cannons or something like that, and he's got like this back section right here, which I'm not really sure what that's supposed to be, but it's a little bit different there, and again, very minor, but it makes me feel like I'm not buying the exact same figure over again, even though these guys should be very similar, so it doesn't bother me that much. In the original G1, they didn't share the same mold. It was more Razor Claw and Rampage that kind of shared, and then they kind of just retooled Razor Claw. So curious to see how those guys are going to turn out, and whenever we get Dive Bomb, he'll be a completely new mold. But these guys being both the legs for predicating, and I like the thickness of them whenever you put them into leg mode, which we'll save that for whenever we put all the figures into them, just like I've done with all the third-party combiners. They're very thick, and you can tell that they're going to have a lot of stability. These guys are very solid figures. They weigh quite a bit, so I'm very confident that whenever I get the whole set, that he's going to be just a solid figure, to where whenever I mention Fans Project Intimidator or M3 or Motormaster, whatever you want to call that thing, it's kind of loose and fiddly and stuff like this. I can already tell you these are not going to have that problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at him with another guy here. Just brought in one of the Dinobots. As you can see, the thickness of him with G1 Sludge here, and kind of see that angle as well. So you can kind of see how long he is. Alright, move him to the side. He's the only one that I had transformed. I'm not going to transform a card for this guy. But let's take all his little weapon packs and all this good stuff off. We'll set that to the side. Do the same thing with these knives here. And his little guns. And you can switch these whichever way. If you like the guns up here, or you like them back there, and vice versa with the knives, then whatever makes you happy. Alright, so get him in a little stance right here, and you can see a little bit closer look at him. It's not too bad. I still have the one problem. It is for predicating mode, but he's got quite a bit of junk in the trunk here, and very thin up here. As far as articulation, he has this neck joint, so if you push his neck in, he can't bend back and forth. It does go down like so, but if you pull it out, you can see that now he's got that joint that can move back and forth. He can open his mouth, but then you will see his face a bit, so I guess you're not going to open up all the way. He does have rotation here. This bends in and out, and this section right here It's not supposed to come out like that, but it kind of bends all the way around. It has a ball joint. This has a ball joint up here, so I mean this is moving all the way around. This has a ball joint down here, so you can adjust that how you like, and it has quite a bit of movement there. Same thing with this leg as well, and he does rotate at the waist a little bit there. It just kind of gets caught, so it's a little bit hindered, but it's all right. He's a rhino, so he's not supposed to completely turn, in half there. All right, let's bring in the original G1 Headstrong. So this isn't, the Platinum Edition or whatever, the 2010 reissue or whatever. We'll take a look at the cannons here in a bit as well. But I just kind of wanted to show them side by side. One of the things that I'll point out to you that I like that they did, he has where you can see the silver painted here with these little lines. He had that on the original, but it wasn't painted silver, but he had some silver back here. So I do like this. This is a nice little touch, where something that they didn't do on Tantrum, but they ended up kind of adding a little bit of detail there for him. So very nice there. Yellow eyes, yellow eyes. You kind of look here, or not at the front, but he's got this little bit of silver throughout here. You can see he's got a little bit right here coming around, and some little black panel lining going on, and some black panel lining going on there. Same thing with the back. You can see that there's a little silver sticker there, so they kind of touched that up to make that resemble that. So nice, a little black panel lining again, and they couldn't really match that up like they did with Tantrum. But whenever we get into robot mode, it's something that well, you know what? I'll go ahead and show you right now, and I'll point it out again. If you look at the tops of them, this guy kind of just has the stickers, and this section right here would have been more flipped around, because these are supposed to resemble what it looks like when this guy's in robot mode. These are pushed into his chest, and his head would be popping up there. So again, you'll see it in robot mode, and we'll get more into detail about that then. But I do like that. That was a nice little added touch, and it doesn't have the same chest that Tantrum did, and we'll get those guys in that mode as well. All right, moving him to the side, getting into the weapons. I just want to make sure this is all clear for you. This is the original G1 gun that Headstrong had, and that's a knife. And here is the little cannon, or whatever you want to call this little gun thing, for Fortis. So nothing, they're not close whatsoever, but I gotta assume that this plays some kind of part into whenever you put it in Party King gun or something. The next thing is the sword or the knife. Here is the sword for the original G1, and then here you have the knife for Fortis. And just to kind of show you, where did his gun go? The knife for Bovis, so there's his, and then here's the knife for Fortis. So you can see that there's quite a few differences there, and it's a little bit smaller as well. So let's go ahead and get these guys transformed, and we'll take a look at some comparisons that way. Alright guys, you know what, I'm going to go over the transformation just so you guys that haven't seen it before don't have to go to a separate video and watch that and find out where it's at. So real quick, let's go ahead and get into this guy. First thing that we're going to do is pull these little tabs back just like so. Pull up on this section here. We're going to come around with this, and I'm just going to pull those to the side, move, try to get these out of the way as much as possible. I'm going to try to make sure that this is all on camera. I'm going to push back with this section here, bending these legs, get those knees out of the way, bring those out, and you can separate there. This section right here is just going to, let's see, swing through here, and just like so. And once you get that done, you can close that, and you can set that foot into place. Do the same thing with this. Bring this around, swing that around, close that up, and bring this foot into place. I'm going to try to do it a little bit more quicker than I did the Bovis one review. With this section here, you're going to spin these hoofs, and do the same with this one as well. And there's a peg there and one here on the bottom, and this is just going to peg into that. And then you have these little slots in here and here as well. This is, fine, make sure I get that. There we go, there's that tabbed in there, and that tab there on the side, so now that's not moving. Do the same thing with this one. Bring this around, and make sure we get that tabbed in there. There we go. And there's slots in there, and they're down here as well. And you just kind of have to move them, position them down a little bit. Oh, come on, dude. There we go. Got them in there. Alright, then we're going to rotate here at the waist section. Bring that around. These little butt pads here, you're going to pull those out. Only transform this guy once, and that was to get him to the rhino mode so I could review it. And then you'll push them in there. So this guy's still really stiff. Pull that butt pack out and spin it around and plug it here to the side and push that in. Right, you'll have those legs done. These you can position however you want and just lay them down there on the side. Then with this section, rotate his head. Go ahead and push that down. I guess we can pull this out first. Go, give me that. And push his neck down. Then with the arms, come around this way, pull this back, spin the hoof around, pull the arm out, rotate this in, and then you have that peg in the hole here, just like the bottom legs, and you'll peg that in place. There we go. And there's that arm. Do the same thing with this one. Pull that back, open this up. Come on, dude. And spin this around. Right there. Rotate that. And we'll get that on there. And then you can flip out his little hands here. And there you have Fortis all transformed. Looks pretty nice. I'll just make sure that everything's focused. Hopefully all that was focused when I was transforming it. If it wasn't, I apologize, but here we are now. Looks really nice as far as articulation goes. You can rotate his head. Can't really bend up and back any, but if you just kind of push in his head a little bit, it kind of looks like he's looking forward. And the arms, these can kind of go in and out. They rotate here, swivel here, bend quite a bit there. The hands do rotate. The waist rotates. I got quite a bit of leg movement there. Bend at the knee quite a bit. And you got, kind of foot posability because that thing's not connected and it's just, moves however it wants to. Let's go ahead and get them, armed up and, get a couple of comparisons in here. As far as these cannons, they can just fit here and plug on the side of his wrist. So something a little bit different there. And with his knives, we just come in down here from the bottom and kind of rotate them in there. Do the same with this one. Just gonna bring that in and turn it. And looks pretty beefy, man. This is a pretty awesome looking little dude here. Alright, now the first one that I wanted to do a comparison with is obviously the G1, just so you can kind of get the idea of what I was talking about with the chest section. I mean, that's the main part that they kind of focused on to where, just to kind of recap, to where whenever you looked at, Bovis, you can see that the chest sections here are very similar. So the chest and the hoofs and these little things right here is and obviously the head and the colors is what they really changed up with the figure so that they didn't look exactly the same. But we'll get a little 360 with him and Headstrong. Not too bad. Again, this is something that I think that Repro Labels will have a little bit of fun, or any of the other little label companies and stuff like that. So, but it does have a nice little look of silver there. And I forgot to mention that the handle for his knife here is kind of a champagne, where it's painted silver here on the blade. And I like this, that all that connects there to kind of hide the hollowness. You do see quite a bit of hoofs and stuff like that, but I think they do a really nice job. And the other main thing that I guess you can tell is he's got the black legs to where he's got the yellow down here, but that's just kind of the way they had to do it. get a look at him between, Fortis and Bovis. They look pretty incredible side by side. I get a couple of comparisons in here for you. Here they are with Generation Springer. As you can see that they're just a tad bit taller. Alright, sorry about that. My camera ran out of memory, so I didn't notice it until I was actually done, and here we are. But anyways, as you can see that they are a tad bit taller, but they are a lot thicker, so a lot more beefy looking dudes, and that's something that I really do dig about these, versus whenever I look at some of the things from, TFC toys and also Unique Toys that are doing the Predacons as well. So that's why I kind of chose to go with them. I just love their alt forms. I love their robot forms, and the Predaking look superb as well. So I think they win in all three phases, to where some of the other ones, like I think the Unique Toys Predaking looks cool in its Predaking mode, but in the other two forms, the individual figures, I don't like the way it looks. So another little figure that I will show him real quick. Here is G1 Smokescreen. There's a little head right there. So you can see that they just tower above this guy. But then again, back in G1, the Predacons were very large as well. Alright, one last thing that I did want to show you is, he can hold his cannon just like Bovis could, but that's something I never showed off just because I think it looks a little ridiculous. But the last little section here is you can see these little notches here, and you have those pegs. You just clip that onto the back there, and it does not hinder his balance whatsoever. That is incredible. So, I just love this guy. Very cool. Sorry it took me so long to review this. I've had them for a couple of weeks now, but thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think. Are you getting any of the Predacons? Did you decide to go with Mastermind Creation? I know a few of my subscribers have said that they were kind of on the fence. They didn't know which one to go with, and that they saw my Bovis review, and they said, you know what, I'm going with this one. So, if I can help you guys out in any way, let me know. Just ask your questions in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.